What's up, everybody? First, of course, Bobby's always first, right? Because we just started all over. So, what's everybody up to? I know we were trying to do one a little earlier in the week, but things were a little been too busy at work for me, so sneak in today because I know all hell's gonna break loose again Monday. So, um, and we had a few ideas we were gonna talk about. Mm, we had one that was we were going to talk about doing device groups again with lights. The, I was going to start off things backwards. We'll do a Tekken with. I guess things are flowing good back in the other side of the world, and Tekken was wanted to send across some emails, and I kindly responded, and they wanted to do a two relay plug. We've done one of those before, as well as some of their wonderful round plugs, and I was just curious to see if they were RTL or ESP based. So they are. I did check out one, and it is RTL based. So we will show real quickly what you don't want to see until you convert. 322. Not too bad. You're what? Oh, 322 a.m. Okay. And I say, well, you're 5 hours. I was just started to think time zones. And I was like, okay. Um, so we had some other stuff. And if I'm too hot on the mic, y'all let me know. I'm seeing this peaking in red. Sometimes I get loud. So other stuff we were looking at was doing. I set some other ideas in Discord for some MQTT stuff with MQTT Explorer, and whatever else you guys want to get tracked on or whatever it might be. Um, so where's the desk? And officially, we will ban the C word again for this live stream. I know everybody else has been seeing enough of it. So, the escape from the media, if you want to call it that, I guess. So, of course, everybody knows hey, look at Frederico's there. So the Tekken plugs, these are RTL based, and I haven't looked up if I can see the glare on it, the FCC ID on it. What time? Oh, hammer time. I see it now. Um, the a lot of times I can find the FCC IDs. To AQNX SP. A lot of times people ask like, "Hey, how do I know if something to you convert if it's gonna work?" And I gotta do this. Is it gonna work on that page? Why ain't it working? Okay, well. There it goes. Heading on the next page. A lot of people always ask, like, hey, how do you know if something to you converts? Well, a lot of times, if I look on some of the Amazon listings, they'll have like people will post pictures of them, and I'll find the FCC IDs to them. Oh, see, this one doesn't have any. I was looking for it. This one doesn't have any internal photos. All it has is the external photos. Dang it. Okay. Well, that kind of squashes that one. I'll find the FCC IDs for them, and they're a lot of times, yeah, and that and a lot of times you're trying to backtrack. Kind of Patrick was saying, you're trying to backtrack one. It's like they may change FCC IDs midstream, or then, and really they will say they're FCC approved, but then you cannot find an FCC ID for them at all, which is. How is it FCC approved without an FCC ID on it? I'm not sure. It seems like you would need to put that on there, but they don't. So if to look at things, and I'll drag this guy over here, is, I wonder if we can plug this in here. We can plug this guy. If this round plug will fit in here. That way we don't have to have 10 million. Hey, what's up, Mark? Let's see. See, that one is on. Okay. And so what I mean by doing stuff backwards is this Tekken 2 plug, I have no need for it. And so since they sent it over, want a little exposure, whatever, it doesn't really, I've done kind of a tips and tricks video on one before. So as soon as we get done with this, we'll just, in a couple minutes here, we'll do, I know it will just be, again, all the Canadians are going to hate me, including Will. Shipping this across to other countries is not going to be good. So I'll do a giveaway for the plug to US people. Yeah, I know, man. I wish it was just free to ship, right? That would be what we need to do. That's the ultimate stimulus package, right? Me and you need to come up with some good ideas, Will, after, for doing stuff in other countries. Like do a giveaway where it's like, I'll do the plug if you're in the US and then do something else in other countries. So I know everybody knows till you convert. Yeah, so we're going to go through and I'll show you what you don't want to see. I'll send you my Tekken 4-pack. No, I've got a 4. You can send it to Will if you want. I've got a 4-pack of these plugs I really don't want right now. So it's okay. I'm selling my 2U convert approved, not to the USA. Yeah. So this guy is, I don't know if you can see the light. Yeah, not that you really need to. Let me turn that off without setting off everybody's Googles. So you can see the LED, and we'll put this guy in pairing mode. It should go to pairing mode. Yeah, so there's the pairing mode. And yeah, exactly. I won't say the terms. Make sure we're on the right thing. So these are the plugs you don't want to buy. Probably not the exposure they wanted, but whatever. I'm going to be real. Unfortunately, Tekken has switched a lot of their stuff over to RTL based. I haven't seen the bulb switched yet. The dimmers, I haven't seen them switch yet, but I know all their plugs, and they're like their power monitoring plugs. Those have been switched. I know a lot of stuff overseas I saw has been plugs. Tekken those have been switched to RTL, so you can't flash them with the over-the-air stuff. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Patrick. I was like, maybe I can find somebody that wants to use them in the cloud that just is not into this whole thing. Just some simple little plug for someone. So this is typically by now you should have seen something here. No, all hope is not lost. If you don't see anything here, typically do try it again. But I know this plug is not going to work. I'm just going to let it kind of play out here. And then I'll show you in the log file. And while I'm speaking there, I know it's not nano. What can we use to look at the log file that Linux Guru's out there? No, I don't think it's for RTL's 5 gigahertz. Would you just use cat or something like that? Just to throw the log file by? Yeah. So I was thinking. So we'll do no, don't want to flash in the device. If we look in, I think it's files or scripts. I'm always digging for it's in scripts. So if you look at the one, so let's do cat smart hack dash web dash log. Yeah, I probably should have done that, Mark, was open it up in another window and just let it go by. So really simple right here, and this is what you don't want to see. This is the dreaded message. Is this device, it appears the device is not using an ESP82XX, therefore you cannot install ESP-based firmware. So that's typically the bad message you don't want to get. So but the plug, it's that called the SS31 or something like that. Let's see. It was this plug here. It was just a little 2-door outdoor plug. SS31 is what it's called, I believe. Oh, that's the model number of it. It looks like they're 26 right now, so that's okay, I guess. Sometimes you'll see them a little cheaper, but so yeah, it's the SS31. Those are, you can do those through to convert. So oh yeah, you can use the plug after that, Dale. If it doesn't impact anything with the, if it fails to do, you can still take the plug and then you can put it in. Like, all hope is not lost. It's just you're not going to be able to put ESP Home or Tasmota on it. So you can still use it, like me and Patrick were saying that, hey, well, maybe they don't fit us, but some parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, whatever, that are not totally into this whole, take it out of the cloud thing. Maybe you just want to do a simple automation for them and tie it into their whatever voice assistant they're using. Hey, it works great for that. Just some simple stuff. And it's just and if you did want to use them as well because you can't return them or whatever, then by all means, yeah, they do have that Tuya plugin that goes into Home Assistant. Now, I've seen mixed results with it, especially, I think, on lights. Even now, you can't change colors on the lights. So just your mileage may vary on that Tuya plugin. It's kind of slow at times, but, at least it does work. So, but, yeah. I'll probably, hang on to them. And unless somebody really wants them or something, I'll probably hang on to them, and a relative of some sort, or a church or something wants to do something with some lights or whatever, it's perfect for them, and I'll just give them to them. So, but just to be, let's see, it was Tekken. Let's see, go back to the, yeah, and there's another brand I see on here, Maros. Don't buy Maros stuff. But yeah, I want to say it was these plugs, but pretty much all these Tekken ones have switched to do, these were decent. These SP20s and stuff were decent. Yeah, I know we're talking about that new PSK. I haven't run into any of those yet. Yeah, Tekken was pretty much the first to switch. Now I know a lot of people always ask, hey, what's some good plugs? Let's see, they're still a decent price. The BN Link ones. The BN Link ones, I know we showed them like a couple streams back, but I know everybody is not hanging out in the same exact streams and stuff. Yeah, now I would say some of the Maros ones, I run it. They were RTL based or something. They weren't even ESP8266. There's some of the dimmers and such. They looked exactly like the Martin Jerry dimmers, but they weren't the ESP chips. And so I've just always stayed away from the raw stuff. But the BN Link ones are good. I like the BN Link ones. I've got a couple of those, and I think they're right now $28 for 4, and so that's, that was what's that? Look at $7, $7 a plug, and they're not on sale. That's not bad, And of course, the prices, especially now, because of things, the prices are changing a lot, but that's still not bad. And the BN Link ones do have power monitoring as well. So, yep. So, enough about that stuff. What you convert it? Like, see if I can catch up. Let's see. Anything I missed? I'm very impressed with you. Sprinkle around the yard for Easter egg. That would be good. Yeah, I don't get why. I get. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence whether they're doing it to switch and cut people out of custom firmware. I really think it's down to, I think they're, RTL has kind of created that pricing war, and they're trying to price ESP out of it and trying to do a drop-in replacement, which I've actually seen a lot of people switch the actual modules. They soldered, took off the RTL module and put on a ESP module. Yeah. Converted 12. So you converted 12 SB20 bulbs, but can use RGBW. I just can't. You can't adjust RGB or try to combinations in the template. Typically, I would use, if you can't find the template. I know I did a little short thing on it. Let's see. It was if I can find the new new device procedures. Of course, I can't find the thing when I'm looking for it. Well, this one should come up. I'll pull it over to the other screen. So if you're not, the template, I know they've changed, I think even on the Tekken bulbs, they've changed a lot of the, they've changed hardware revisions. It seemed like 3 or 4 times. And if you don't know which ones are which, go through that little new device procedures. I also did a video on it. And if you want to, whether you want to read or watch, it's up to you. It's just kind of the same procedure. I'll link that here as well for you, if I can scroll over and get it. So actually, can you guide one day on fine-tuning the options of Tasmota with Home Assistant, going through the set options? Actually, we're going to talk about some of that stuff, Peter. That was one of the things what we were talking about doing with the time, daylight savings times and standard time, some of the set options I go through, and we'll show how to do. I like to do a backlog command of those, and I'm lazy and throw it into Home Assistant, but as an automation, and don't schedule it as any automation, but I just go through and set it in there, and then I send it to all of my plugs and devices and everything at one time, and I just use that little execute button. So, yeah, and I am linking to this thing is still this. I know I'm linking to the old wiki on the if you really want to look at, I need to find the other link, but there's one. If you look at the Tasmota.com documentation, that's going to be the newer documentation. Set option 26. What is that? Set option 26. Let's go find it, I guess, right? Set options. Using indexes even when, okay. So yeah, that makes, that one's kind of cool, especially when I've actually ran into that when you had one plug. It had one relay and you had your commands just to power. Well, then you added another relay and now it changes it to power to power 1 and then power 2. What would cause a Tasmota smart plug working fine suddenly decide to disconnect and reconnect to Wi-Fi every 10 seconds or so? Not sure about why it sound like it's crashing, photo. It shouldn't be losing Wi-Fi. Do you have a really bad Wi-Fi? And we're going to talk about a SetOptions 65. Yeah, that sounds like an older version. That's exactly what Will was talking about. I would definitely go through and upgrade. 8.2, I know I'm scrolling like a mad dog. 8.2 has been pretty good, and 8.2 Elliott, and I say it's been pretty good because if you look at some of the issue threads on for Tasmota, there's not a lot of major stuff. It's some minor things or new things. Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Federico. So Federico, if you missed it, and he even says it right up there. I'm backwards in many ways. He's migrating. Blackadder is migrating the docs to a new platform. Things could be a bit messy. So, just there's the older wiki still on the Tasmota GitHub project. But if you can't find something, and of course, last but not least, if you really need something, there's a bunch of smart individuals out on Discord, and you can go pop in there and ask us or nag us, whatever it might be. Worth upgrading 8.1 to 8.2. I know they did change cores in between there. The one big change, and we did talk about that last stream, is now with the newer core accepts Gzip files instead of just bin files. So basically, I know I stopped talking midstream, but can't keep it all rolling. If you look at the easiest way to explain this, and I'll zoom this in here and scroll over. That's probably too much. Is you see like the Tasmota bin GZ is 400K, and then I need to bring my screen up so I can look on one screen. And yeah, that's another thing as well, Will, we need to talk about, is which the Federico was a lot behind that. So y'all can thank him as well, I believe. Quote me if don't quote me on that, but I think I'm correct. Is now the bins, the old bins are 579, and if you just try to send over that bin and you've got another full bin that's 500 and something K, well then it won't flash. And the reason why is, think of it, you've got 1024, and I know it doesn't exactly equal out, so we'll just call it even, say even 500. Well, if you've got something that's 550 sitting on the chip right then, well, if you try to flash something that's 550, because what happens, it actually it flashes the other one at the same time. And think of it kind of like it's partitioned. Like if you'd put, 2 copies of Windows or Windows and Linux, well, then it reboots and it flips partitions over to that other one. And that's how the over-the-air works. Well, now the Gzip bins, you can actually, and I'm not sure exactly how that magic works, but the Gzip bins, now you can flash those larger bins without having to do that minimal step. So that's the cool thing about, and I want to say there was also, wasn't there some PWM fixes as well in there, Federico, with the new, with the new core as well? Worried about the kids holding pressing buttons on Tasmota switches, put into config mode. You can, there is a couple things you can do with that. So we'll jump over to the Tekken plug. Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate. Yeah. So I would say I have changed. I went ahead and flashed all of my stuff in the house and upgraded them all to 8.2. So, and I haven't had any issues, and that's from dimmers to Tuya dimmers to plugs, power monitoring, S31s, a whole plethora of things, and I haven't had any issues. So, yeah. So the if you I know, before I forget, SetOptions 65 is, if you look at, yeah, the core is just, again, we talked about, that's kind of like the base of the operating system, and they've been doing a lot of good things with the core recently. Commands. SetOptions. SetOptions 65. This is if you don't listen to anything on this entire live stream and you use Tasmota, listen to this one thing. I'm just going to zoom in so everybody can see SetOptions 65. I know it's scrolled off the screen on me. And it is kind of backwards. And I'm going to show you I mean, I don't know if you want to try it. We can try it. The anti-flicker. That's the one I was talking about. SetOptions 65 is good and bad. If you remember the days of, well, hey, like I accidentally put in the wrong password on this bulb, and now I can't get back into the Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi config mode is not set, so the access point's not coming up, and you now, quote unquote, I hated that term, bricked the bulb. You know, technically didn't brick it. It's just sitting there trying to connect to the wrong Wi-Fi password. But now with SetOptions 65, this has been in Tasmota since, I'd have to go back and look. Maybe one of y'all can look while I'm running my mouth. I want a 7.x or later 6x version. And if you have the perfect power in the world, it never goes out, then you don't have to worry about this. And now I have storms and trees and underground, above ground, wind and everything else. And I've actually had this happen to 2 plugs that I forgot to set option 65 on. And what I mean set it, you actually need to set it to 1 to disable it. So if they call it the fast power cycle detection, and what that's designed for is, okay, look, introduced, I should have clicked the link, introduced in 6.71. So if you do a fast cycle of power, it resets all of the settings after 4 power cycles consecutively. So it tells you how to use it, cut off the power 30 seconds, power the device on and off 3 times, intervals lower than 10 seconds, and leave on after the 4th time. And boom, it's going to reset itself. And so you can imagine if you've got 60 devices of Tasmota in your home, and now the power decides to go chook, 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 and does that exact thing, which it has happened to several of us, then now, and you have them all, and their Wi-Fi is wiped on all of them. So now when you open your phone, now you've got 60 Tasmota dash, and then that number, access points in your home, and you don't know which one's which, and what templates you use, what rules you set, group topics, the whole 9 yards. And if you didn't use Patrick's Tasmota backup or Tasmo backup, then you're pretty well screwed on things. So it's fun, in being a little sarcasm there. So go through and set, once you put something into what I call production, where you've put it out in your room or whatever, and it's totally, you're done setting it up and it works great, I would set option 65. I would do that. And that way you don't have to worry about the lights clicking on and off and resetting that thing on you. Now, when you're first setting it up and you're trying different softwares and you're trying different templates and you're trying different settings or whatever, 65 is great, because if you do something bad and it just locks up or gets stuck in some weird state, well, then you can cut it off and on 4 times and you get your device back. So, Now I know Peter was asking the um, about the buttons and stuff. I know if you hold down, you're talking about holding down the button for 40 seconds and that does the reset. I know you can turn some of that off, and I like to turn it off in a little different way. And so inside, which we'll show here, and we'll jump into doing the let's see, in case emergency brought the first friendly, yeah, do a backup of with Tasmo backup. If you don't know what Tasmo backup is, um, this is what Tasmo backup is. We talked about it before. There is the add-on for Home Assistant. You can run it. It's a regular Docker container. You can go search for it for Tasmo. I know it was under Dan Med Tasmo backup. There's a few other. You can do it manually, but this will help you with your backups. You can look for this. You can look. There's got the install with HASS.io, and no, we don't call it HASS.io, but we're still gonna call it that, right? It gives you the instructions on how to do it. Or you can do it with Docker Compose and Docker Run. You can install it raw, whatever. You can schedule your backups. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but basically go through there after the stream. And yeah, Sir Goodenough did a video on it. So we talked about it several times. I used the hell out of it, mainly because of this right here. Is I just go through and I use it as my list of devices. You know, I want to jump to bench left. You know, I can just come in here and click it and jump straight into it. And it's just a simple thing. Doesn't constantly beat on devices like Tasmo admin does, where it constantly is polling it and beating on the HTTP server. Yeah. If anybody wants to help Patrick out with documentation, I'm sure he's very open to any pull request and anything on the GitHub page. So if you don't know anything, you want to help out things, hey, by all means, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So, let's just get this over with. On the plug, we'll do it backwards. Let's see. This is going to be all screwy on me because of the user must be active within the last 15 minutes. And just do that as active users. So yeah, that was the Tekken plug. Before we get that out the way, if y'all want that Tekken plug, I know this isn't the end of the stream. I'm not making y'all wait to the end. And I'll send it out to someone in the U.S. So if you want to enter yourself into the giveaway, make sure and do say something here while we chit chat. Let's see. I see Will posted the link to. And look at Will's going to enter. You have to put something, anything. I didn't put any keywords or nothing like that. It's just whoever's chit-chatting. And while you're there, I know we always say the thing. Push the like button on the video as well. I know Will always tries to get that, and I appreciate it. Oh, look at that, Frank. Love you too. Yeah, it's that Tekken 2 channel button. Unfortunately, the Canada thing, it's probably not worth it to send a $25 plug to Canada. I probably spend more on shipping than the plug itself. We need to talk about Will Hutchin and I are going to talk about just to US only. But hey, Tekken sent this to me for free, and then they wanted, so you buy the official motto is buy the 2-channel relay, but don't buy the plugs. So, All right. So we got 25 people that are up in the thing. I'm just going to do a slow roll through it. Hopefully you just see your name if you want your name in there. And no, this is not the end of the stream. We're still going to talk about some fine-tuning stuff on Tasmota. So, price gouging, huh? I got 26 people. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and roll it. And hopefully I get me a U.S. person, I'm hoping. Yeah, if you do get somebody where the shipping is too much, just let me know. We'll re-roll it. So, it's because it's only like a $20-something plug right now, and it's not. I think it probably costs $40 to send it to Canada or even other countries. So, roll it. Who we got? John Levy. Speak up or forever hold your peace. Is that the term? Hopefully, you can say what country you're in. John. So one thing we did want to, what we got? You want to talk about? I know we want to do. I guess y'all let me know whether we do. All right, there we go, John. Send me your info on Discord. All right, well, hope everything's good with you. And don't have the banned word. Appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, I don't know about that, Scott. Hopefully it is. Speak now or forever hold your peace. That's what it is, old curmudgeon. So, John, send me your info on. I should be able to ship it out Monday or Tuesday, depending on things. And I'll ship it out to you. The 2-channel Tekken plug. So, you followed your laundry video. I think I bricked one of the plugs, so I have to order. So what? Yeah, Peter, I'm sorry. We'll I am going to catch up. We are going to talk about some, and you can watch this afterwards. We are going to talk about the I do want to plan on doing some of the set options and the time zones and everything. So you can find me in there. I'm probably was all throughout there through chat and through the day, John. So. Yeah, so we're here. We'll do that with Sir Good Enough. There we go. Good idea. I can't always catch the links and stuff like that. It should pop up now. So yeah. So some of the stuff that and it also, if you do, you can send me an email through just the channel name at gmail.com. If you don't want to do the whole Discord thing, it's up to you. Yeah, one thing I did want to talk about, I know we're kind of getting, but you're talking about if you brick one of the plugs. I know I talked with someone the other day, and they were trying to go through a bunch of plugs and the switches, and one didn't work. And then they tried to put it back in pairing mode. It didn't work again. What you want to do is turn off and say no on your, why am I talking? I'll just show it here. We had it here where you go through and you say you want to flash another, and go ahead and say no. And that turns off the access point. And then power cycle that device, whether it be a plug, a switch, or whatever. Just turn the power off for a few seconds, turn it back on. Pull out your phone or whatever Wi-Fi you can and look for that vtrust-recovery. If you have that vtrust-recovery, you can go ahead and do the little dance, because it's not bricked. It's not going to have to be soldered or anything like that. All you do is, now it's start up to your convert. And where it does this part, where it says, you know, you got to press, you got to say yes, yes, yes. And it shows this part where it says starting AP and screen. Well, then after you see that starting AP and screen, give it a few seconds and then go ahead and turn on that device again and go ahead and start it. It should automatically just pick up and boom and start flashing your device. Yeah, so it's not all is lost when you do that. So it's very I've only had one plug that really totally truly bricked per se was some AO Coker power monitoring plugs. I had an issue with those. And that was like out of probably over 100 and something devices I've done. That's the first one I've had an issue where it just failed during the 2-year convert process. And it puts out an ESP underscore some, you know, and then like part like a hex address, part of the MAC ID. That's probably pretty well wiped. Yeah. So I'm not sure what state that's in. It's in some weird ESP SDK state at that point. So some of the set options I do. And we can go through some of that. So I know a lot of people talk about time zones. And this one, I'm going to paste it in here. This one's a good one for time zone. Now that's not everybody. So pay it before you copy and paste that and use it. That's going to be for central time. And what this is minus 300 is going to be the offset from GMT. So that's minus 300 minutes and then minus 360 minutes based on whether it's daylight savings time, yes or no. So if you wanted, just to give you an example, if you're in Eastern time, and you will need to look up your offsets, and you can Google it. It's easy to do. If this for Eastern time, it's going to be like this. You have minus 240 and then minus 300. So in the simple backlog is set in time zone 99, which is going to make it automatically flip back and forth. And this is based on the U.S. rules. I'm not abreast on all the different, I know daylight savings times. I wish they would just do away with that garbage. I'm jealous of, Arizona. If there's any Arizona people out here. I think, I know when I used to cover Arizona area with some clients, they would always pick on me that they don't even do set at daylight savings times, which I was very jealous of. So, and one of the guys was like, "Why don't you do it there?" He said, "Well, it's hot here all the time, so why not?" And I was like, "Hey, I'll roll with that." Exactly, Matheson. I can't stand the daylight savings time. I need a cough button, right? So one of the other ones I like to do. Let me drag out the set options again. Set options. So I know one of them they were talking about was the, let me get this out of the chat. We're talking about the buttons. And I know this is a big one for a lot of people, is the set option 13. They don't know about that one. And it's a lot of times it's a misconception of that your set option 13 is, they like say, well, ESP home is faster for pressing switches and stuff. And a lot of times they'll switch to it. But you can actually speed up your option. You can speed things up by set option 13. And just to kind of show you that is on this Tekken here, we do have in the template, you'll see it is listed as button 1 right here. So if we turn on, I'll show you the difference. And if you can watch the LED, if I can get it in the frame. Well, you're not going to be able to see the LED. It's too bright on it. Let's see if we can do, let's see if we can change, because one of the LEDs is staying lit up for some reason all the time. Let's just do a LED link on this one. I think LED link should do it. A Fox and Summit spot. I never even heard of that. Elton John's who's that? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't even know there was a concert or anything, to be honest with you. That's weird. It just blinks the light. I don't know what state the LED is in. But you can see the... all right. All right, John, I got your stuff. I see that. He's a backup singer for Five Finger Death. That would be great. That would be great. So there's about, I don't know if you can hear, you probably can't hear it. With set option 13, there is a, here, I don't know how we can do this. Configure template. We'll take relay 1 off of GPIO 0, and we'll put relay 1 on the relay 1I on the LED. And we'll just go ahead and set this one to none. We'll totally jack with the template. All right. See, there you now you can see it now. And that's, you see the delay? And I can pull my finger back with and get out of the way by the time it delays. Now watch, we turn set option 13. I think it's 1. Is it 1? Is it 1? I'm backwards. Set option 13, 1. Yeah. So now we got set option 13, and I guess I should show. I just did set option 13 space 1 on the console, and that should just turn it on. And now, I mean, I can't pull my finger away fast enough. It's instant now. If you do set option 13, that does disable the, as it says, it does turn off the multi-press actions. So you're only going to get that single response. But if that's what you're looking for anyway, then that's fine. The other way to do that as well is by doing by changing the button. This is what I like to do. It still has the hold. Yeah, some people really don't. They're like, oh, it drives you nuts. That little, they push the button and then the light turns on. They can't stand that delay. And I will say, if you're used to that just immediate press, then it's good. I mean, because if you're coming through a room and it's dark and you press the button, and some people think there's a delay. Yeah, so it's, and I like to do. Does it do the hold? What you're talking about, Federico? Let's see. Well, I don't know what the hold is set for. They still set the button. I don't have it done in auto discovery though, Federico. The other way you can do it now. Ultimately, if you really want to get rid of someone being able to hold down that button or 40 seconds or whatever it is change that button to switch. And so I'll do switch. I should look on the screen. I can see switch 1, and we'll save it. And did it die on us? Or did I die? My thing got delayed. What did it do? Did we kill it? Oh, that's weird. Did it go into access point mode for some reason? Yeah, it's in access point mode for some reason. I've seen that before with doing the when you'll save something. Sometimes it goes into access point mode. I've had that on rare occasions for some reason, and but so it you think it's dead at first, but I'm gonna let it sit. It goes out for access point mode for 120 seconds. I can still see it sitting there. We'll talk about some other stuff why it saves. Um, some other good set options. This is another one that people may not know about is the set option 21. Oh, I appreciate it, John. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. And that's one thing I have. Wow, that was loud. It's 57. Yeah, we're gonna get there. Set option 21, I kind of like for power monitoring plugs because it still keeps the voltage sensor showing. Shane, what is that? I had that happen to me last night messing with the plug. Yeah. Is it possible to toggle an actual monetary dome? 22. What is 22, old curmudgeon? I don't see 22. 21, not 22. Oh, you're trying to drive me crazy. It's weird. I still see that. I still see that plug sitting out there. Let me go ahead and add it right quick. I had that happen before on some older versions. Discontinued. And see what's weird, my password's still in there. At least I think it is. All right, we'll see if that gets back in there. Another one is for auto discovery. I skipped auto discovery. Let me go back up. Auto discovery. We're going to talk right up in Frederico's power alley. So set option 19 for the auto discovery stuff. I've been actually using it on a couple. I've been talking about it in some of the a lot of my videos and stuff, just because it's a lot easier for folks, and the less complexity and editing of files I can show folks that are trying to get started with things, it's probably the better. And I know it's kind of that same thing of getting away from YAML stuff and everything in Home Assistant with GUIs. Now, once they really get their feet wet and things into doing with Home Assistant, hey, that's great. If they want to try to turn off some auto discovery and then try to do some manual stuff, hey, by all means, then they can figure out exactly which one works for them. So, but the cool part is with the newer version, and I would say definitely get up to 105, maybe Frederico, or 106 allowed it of Home Assistant, and then 8.2 of Tasmota. You'll notice when you do set option 19, the topics don't flip around backwards anymore. Where typically, let's see if this is back up. Yep. Where typically you would have the tele and then the actual topic and then power one, it's not going to flip them back around. It's not going to flip them around on you. Yeah, so it doesn't do, and that's due to that new version, and it's not a requirement. I've actually played with it on some of them, and it's not a requirement at all. So if y'all want to see, I do have a little my little test system here. In truth, the enforcement was never needed. It was used to solve an issue with JSON length. Okay. Okay, interesting. And this is just a, you're not going to see any of my stuff, so don't flip out. This is just a test build I have um, of things. Let's see. I can care less about what's in this system on the I just showed. Configuration, MQTT. I think it's 95. All right, let's see if that goes back to MQTT. Yes. Okay. So set option 19.1. And what we have, I know if I've really jacked with this switch, I know John's gonna have to fix it. Maybe it's just it's a evil way of making him watch more videos, right? So set option 19.1. And does it reboot? I know it does. It reboot, Federico? I don't know. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. I've never figured out why and which way. I guess it just magically knows, right? No remove. Oh, okay. Always reboots. See, it's not rebooting on me. Okay. Oh, it reboots on remove. Okay, so you've changed. That's changed that as well. Okay, that's why I'm just sitting here like a dummy. All right, so let's go look at. I get lost. Is it the configuration, integrations, and we should see one in MQTT. Yeah, here it is right here. I know my screen's really big, but so yeah, there it is. Add the Lovelace. We'll add Lovelace. Say yeah, boom, 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 boom. So yeah, that's that. Let's see. And the status will. Yep. So and I've jacked with the template. Now the blue is just the LED. So yeah, so that's pretty cool that the topics don't flip around anymore. Now you still do have the option. I don't know if it would break anything. Is it gonna break anything if we do turn the topics back around? And I gotta turn that dark reader back on. I need to install HACS on that test build. So set option 19, that was a good one. I really like that, how that all the work. Then Federico can probably talk about. Maybe that might be a totally different one. We'll do some of the button holds and stuff. What else we have? Set option 36 is a good one. That's defaulted on already. That's if device boot loops a lot, it will automatically set things back to default. What else we have? This is dealing with lights. Some of these I have never used. I've never even heard of. If you have any ESP8285 devices, this enables the other 9. I've used that one a couple times on the like Sonoff Dual R2s. I've used those. Hey, what's up, Scuba? Set option 53 is, I've used that once. It puts the device host name and IP in the GUI. It's kind of cool if you want to do that one. Now here we are down to what Patrick was talking about. 56 and 57. I know there's kind of some people use 56, some people use 57. Some people say maybe that might be my issue is 56, what's causing the access point mode to come back up. I'm not sure. But I do use 56 on most of mine and 57. And especially 57. especially if if you're in if you just have one access point, then that's fine. Then you probably won't. This probably doesn't apply to you. But I've got 2 access points, and one access point is in one corner of the house, and another access point's in the other corner of the house. And if I'm doing a firmware upgrade or a reprovision or whatever, it just totally screws with the devices. They'll end up on where I've got devices, with signals that are barely hanging on. And so what's kind of cool is instead of having to go reboot them and reconnect them, maybe someone can tell me how to do this same thing in ESP Home. That would be great, because when that happens, I have to go click reconnect and get my devices to let go, my ESP Home devices to let go of that weak access point, because now there's an access point like literally feet from it, but yet it's choosing a signal way across the house. So 57's a really good one to have, and I wish maybe that would be a feature. And I used to do that. That's too late to say that name. Zappity Zap. There we go. We'll just call you Zappity. Triple Z or Triple Z, depending on whether you're from Canada or not. I think you're in Canada. That's why I said it that way. I did have that set that way, where I had like a 2.4 rear and a 2.4 front, and I would lock Tasmota devices to that. But the problem was I wanted to have that fallback if I had some issue with one access point. I still wanted stuff to be able to access on the other access point. So yeah, Scott, I know I'm long-winded. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna show you my little automation. So we covered 65 extensively. If you missed it, go back and research all the stuff. Rewind, go check out 65. Yeah, that one's really extensive. I haven't done some of these other ones. One of them I am going to talk about is 78. And Federico can close his ears or stick his fingers in his ears or whatever. If you do want to flash something to ESP Home, you will need to turn on, which disables, and it kind of sounds backwards, turn 78 on, and that removes that version check, because right now you don't want to take a bin file from, say, 6.x and flash onto 8. You probably will end up with a boot loop device. So what they've done to prevent that from happening is Tasmota will look in the bin and say, oh, hey, no, that's a bad bin file. You don't want to flash that. Well, you can remove that check if you're flashing, say, ESP Home to it. And that's about all I'm looking for. Yeah, the other ones are PWM dimmer stuff, and then we got some Zigbee stuff, but that's Zigbee for a whole nother deal. So, let's see. So to send over, what I do to send over things is, let me pull up my automation here, because and you can put this in multiple places, and I'm going to pull it up here. Just give me a second. Yeah, just hold on to that question, Alex. I'm going to try to remember it, but it doesn't always happen. Let's see. So what I like to use is, I like to use, I know there's probably a bunch of them, is I throw this into Home Assistant, and this is just my on startup, and it just throws my status and states and dimmers, and yeah, I think that's probably Alex probably having an issue with the bridge interface. It's probably Alex. There's probably about 4 or 5 different guys that'll come help you out. Jump into Discord and look in, and probably in the Home Assistant or infrastructure section, and ping and copy and paste that same question. I guarantee you, Whack 2020 and Patrick and probably a couple others will probably figure out that issue and help you out. It's probably, I could see that probably being a little difficult to handle in here. But it's probably an easy fix though. So what I like to do to send over all of my set options is I like to use a simple little backlog command. And if you post, now I'm doing Sonos, your group topics should be, and if you don't know your group topics, the easy way to find out is go in and do a group topic. You just go into the console and type in group topic. It will show you the group topic, and it's just going to show this one's Tasmota's. So this should default to Tasmota's on new devices, but before they renamed the firmware from Sonoff-Tasmota, then it was probably Sonoff's. And if you've brought your settings forward, you may have a mixture of ones that are Sonoff's and Tasmota's. So that's why I send to all of them. And all you do is if you post to that topic and then do a payload, and I'll show you how this works. I'll show you how this works in Home Assistant too. If you want to do it manually, I keep mine in a configuration. That way it's just there and it's always backed up. But if you go into developer tools and go to MQTT, and if you want to do a publish, and you can do this with MQTT Explorer or whatever, but hey, we got Home Assistant and it's right here. So if you copy in the topic, and then we'll put in this one, set option 56, 65, and if I can get my windows straight, and then the payload like this. And if you want to continue on with other commands, just follow along with the same path. And I know you're probably like, why is it automation? Well, I'll put it as an automation, but I have it turned off. And just every once in a while, I'm adding devices, I'll just go ahead and hit execute, and it sends all these set options to my stuff. Yeah. Now, I have tried to use the console in Tasmota. If you tried to do, I think it confuses the backlog. I've tried to do it as a publish in Tasmota itself, and it doesn't like it. We can try it. But let me try this. Let's do this method first. So once you put all your little set options in there, and let's go ahead and throw in my the time zone stuff too, right? So we got the time zone, and the way this is laid out, it's just like if you did a backlog, and backlog is just a command, so that's going to be where we're going to post it to, and the payload is going to be all of our little set options. And then just hit publish. And that's going to send to all of your switches and devices that use that Tasmota's group topic. Let's see. Now, if your topics are the other way, you would need to put Tasmota's Tasmota's / command. So we published, and we should be able to see, you can see now it sent 56, 57, 65. It sent over the time zone stuff, and it sent over all the time zone for the daylight savings time and everything. And so if you see, the cool thing is putting that in automation. You can just go and hit that button every once in a while. I'm not sure of there you go, 1200 bytes is going to be the buffer on that. Now, I don't know if there's a limit actually on this box right here in Home Assistant. So you can have some pretty long backlog commands, but you probably won't have an issue with blowing them out. So, but that's how you do it. Can you publish some of that in the chat or Discord? Sure. I'll and if you did, I know we talk about let's see. I did kind of show, and I'll link this as well. I still have some stuff on my little cheat sheet that I throw in my wiki. Is this, if you want to steal some stuff out of here, is you kind of see what this is that little automation that I was just showing here, where I'd send all my power states. I've talked about that in one of my MQTT retains videos, where it just forces all your devices to spit out their power states. So you can now you just can't publish backlogs on the console. If you want to do a publish command, Tasmota SetOption, this would be really bad. Do SetOption 19, but if you want to do SetOption 50, 65 1, you can do this exactly from a device on the network, and it should post, and you should see now we saw it picked it up. It actually sent out to MQTT to the broker and then came back and set option 65. So you can do individuals there. What we were talking about, you can't, it messes up. If you do publish command, Tasmota's backlog, and then trying to put backlogs like that, it's trying to parse it and ends up messing things up. So if you want to do a publish backlog, just publish it from like MQTT Explorer, or like I say, probably most people are going to have the Home Assistant up. Then I would use that. Otherwise, you can use MQTT Explorer. I haven't done that in a while. Let's see. I need to add a connection. Let's see. Add a connection, has test. No, we're not validating the certificate. And this is that test box. I don't know if I got the I think it was DIY MQTT. I'm sure somebody saw the password earlier and they'll tell it to me again. And that's not my real password, by the way. Again. Connect. There it is. So this is that. Let's see. You should be able to publish in here. I haven't done it in here. I've done it with MQTT FX. Can you just do a topic? I don't know if you can do it within here. Oh, there. I guess, yeah, here it is. Just publish. Duh, right in front of me, Travis. It is getting too late, I guess. Let's do command Tasmota's backlog, and then we'll grab that right out of chat. That same backlog, and the value is here, and I just probably want to do raw, not JSON, and probably don't want to do that as a retain, and we'll just hit publish and see what happens. All right, so we saw it publish the command Tasmota's backlog, and you can see it did publish that. And let's look back at the switch. Yep, and there it is. So that works as well from MQTT Explorer. So you can see it's a little few more steps, but that also applies for anybody that's doesn't run Home Assistant, that's just doing like OpenHAB or whatever, Demotics or whatever it is. So I find it easier to do these in Home Assistant, just in that little MQTT tab. So, what else did we have? We're going to talk about device groups real quick. If y'all want to do something that show you how really easy that, if you haven't seen that, I know we were talking about doing the, there was a request, someone would talk about doing device groups. I guess I need to put, I probably took over some of my stuff. Hold on 1 second. It was 1, 2, 3, 3. Is I'm going to change this guy. And see if we can get him to go into AP mode as well. No, I don't want to say the password. Set option 19.1. And you should be able to see. So the MQTT Explorer is pretty cool. If you ever mess with it, it's pretty cool. You can actually see what it does. Are you on a No, I don't. I haven't even messed with the multiple group topics yet. And I know some people were asking, and I'll look at the multiple group topics thing. I looked at the pull request, but I have not even flashed some of the firmware with it yet. If you look at some of if you're trying to pull stuff out, this is what it puts in there for all the different sensors and everything for the auto discovery. And so if you're ever going to want to pull down a device and you're going to get rid of it, it's a good idea to do a set option 19-0, and that gets rid of it out of your MQTT server, and that way you don't have to go through and do all the deletes and pull out the retained topics and everything. So I was stuck with a 3-way powered from one end, no ground, the other. Oh, yeah, with a traveler. So what I was trying to do here was get a quick setup get this bulb on this little test Home Assistant. Here it is right here. Add to Lovelace Home. Sure. I'll go with default cards. Make a big mess, right? Whoa, that's bright. I hate this card. You gotta click and drag it. There we go. And let me put this guy next to this one. Get set up. All right. And then this one, zoom in a little bit. And close this one. Get rid of this one. All right. And so for the device group stuff, it's one thing that and I don't have multiple bulbs here to do it with. I guess they'd be the real test to do it with. All right, Jim, I appreciate it. is the device. We've talked about. I know we had one request that we're asking about how to do with the device groups. Looking for the file, device groups. It's with the set option 85. And what you need to do, and show you how real simple it is set option 85. Do you set your group topic first? Let's do group 1 as our group topic. And it does reboot, I believe, when you set your group topic, so don't freak out. Group 1. And we back up. Yep. And we back up on the bulb. I saw it flickering. Yep. So the cool part is there's no... Let's drag this up so you can see the screen. I'm trying to keep it zoomed so y'all can see this and not blow out the screen. If you do set option 85 space 1, and then do a set option 85 space 1 on the other device, that's going to sync those two devices with a UDP packet between each other. It actually doesn't go over MQTT. And so now whenever you do press the button, it's going to turn, well, we switched it. Saw how fast it was? I did a switch on there. I need to set my switch mode. We were talking about how to disable. See, I got sidetracked and that device blew up on me. We were talking about how to disable the button presses, and I didn't set switch mode 1.5, which otherwise it was just, you had to hold that button, and then if I let go, well, then that was turning it back off. So now if you, with no rules, it's going to keep them synced up. And it's not, we didn't do anything with Home Assistant, and I did a little quick video on it. It's pretty cool with the device groups. But now the problem is, so you'll notice the blue LED is the power of this device. The problem is, well, now if I go turn the bulb off, well, that's going to turn off the other device as well. And if it may be good in some cases, just depends on what you're doing, because if you say you have two bulbs, well, then if you turn one, like say red, or one off, it removes the ability to turn the bulb on and off. So what you'll want to do for that is on the bulb itself is you'll want to come in here and copy this dev group share, and I should have it on the screen. You copy this dev group share and put it in the bulb. In the 0, if you see it says 0 out, it's not going to send any commands out on the bulb itself. And that way, when you turn the bulb on and off, it just allows you to turn the bulb on and off without actually turning the device on and off. But then when you still do the switch, it will power and cycle on and off. So Vernon, he has a room that he's installed a Martin Jerry dimmer switch, but the bulbs in the room are Zigbee based. I've created a no, is that really what you typed, or is that autocorrect? A no bread plow? What is a no bread plow? Is that a plow that doesn't have any bread? when monitors the MQTT topic. Oh, look, you can do okay, -1. Okay. Yeah. We actually, I ran that in, a Node-RED. Node-RED flow, not a Node-bread plow, right? Okay. That one's great. We'll call that one the Node-bread. We'll call it Node-bread, right? You're really going to screw me up saying that. No bread. Actually, yes. Actually, Steve-O helped me out with something in that project house. Let me pull up, give me 1 second, and let me pull up, if I can pull up the automation for that, if it's going to let me. File editor. Why is it not letting me do this? Overview. This is weird. I'm trying to pull up the file editor and even the supervisor on. It's not letting me do it. All right. Maybe we'll just restart it. While that restarts, I want to grab a. I love Node-RED. Don't make fun. I love Node-RED as well. While that restarts, I want to make sure Node-RED. There you go. That's going to be the new name for it. And the thing I loved Node-RED with when I first started with Home Assistant is there's no plow emoji. I'm really surprised at that. When I first started with Home Assistant, I probably within like a week later, I had a few automations I copied in, and then I found someone that was posting a little thing of how to do stuff in Node-RED and some automations, and so then I started doing some automated lights with a motion sensor, and I was like, wow, this is like, it had a little weird curve at first, but now, man, I really loved doing, I do most of my stuff in Node-RED. And it's no hate on any of the developers in doing automations. It's just, at the end of the day, I don't want to fight syntax issues with, hey, I forgot to tab something in. I forgot to space it in enough. Is this entity supposed to be here? Just being able to drag and drop some bubbles and connect stuff. And then, really the only thing I really mess up on is like some states, whether you forget, capitalized on and it's really lowercase on or something like that. But other than that, it's really easy to figure out some automations. So, are you planning on upgrading your Unraid Home Assistant Docker? I've seen mixed results with that, Stephen. It's really that I would say unsupported way if you're using that non-VM version to get Hass.io, but to get the supervisor. I've seen mixed results with it. A lot of people are saying that supervisor just refuses to run. And I know there was some stuff a while back that they also talked about don't use it in different other containers on Proxmox and stuff. I think it's just something they're not trying. I don't know if they're intentionally broke it, but maybe there was something they upgraded or changed and it broke it. I'd prefer if you are doing Unraid, they have that app store. I just run just the core. I don't get the add-ons, but I can add on all my other stuff out of the store. If you want to go full on, I would say just spin up a little. What this is right here is just a little Debian VM that I did, and then I did the Home Assistant install inside for just straight up Linux. And I can still SSH into it and fix things or whatever. And it's kind of I'll call it under the covers, where it's still kind of open, but yet you still have supervisor. Yeah, that's what I did for this little test thing here. Let me see if that server is back up yet, so I can. There was an automation that we were using a Martin Jerry dimmer. And then he had two or three hue bulbs in there. And we wanted to make them in sync, and we just wanted to switch to pull up. and keep things. No, it's still giving me that stupid error. I am not sure why it's doing that error. We may just have to reboot the whole thing. That's very weird. Everything else works, but the supervisor must have failed on the box. Maybe I need to restart the whole thing, but then I can't get in the supervisor to restart the whole thing remotely. That's great. I don't have VPN access to that one, so that's a whole nother deal. Shoot me a message. Who was asking about that with the Zigbee bulbs? Vernon, shoot me a message in Discord, and I'll see about I can pull that automation. And it was an automation that Steve-O helped me out with in Discord, and it watches the dimming level and the power state of the Martin Jerry dimmer or whatever dimmer you have, and then sends that over to the bulbs through Hue, and this just sends it over to that entity. And so it's kind of the same way as with the rules, but we didn't use any rules. We just had Home Assistant do it. Okay, we'll fix that error, Troy. I tried the Control F5. It just gives me an entry point thing. We'll just keep refreshing it while you say that. I'm Control F5 and nope. Gives me the unable to load panel source entry point JS still. Everything else works except the supervisor and the add-ons and stuff, of course. Yeah, everything else is working. I'll mess with it later. So what else we were going to talk about? Any other burning questions? I know we've been going for we at hour and 30. And hopefully I was planning on working on my video for this week. Not that I have a schedule or anything, but 107.7 to work. Well, you were just asking about that, right? There's 107.7. Let's go ahead and update 107.7 while we're talking, right? Mine just scrolls errors in the log. You passed USB to HASIO Docker. What do you mean? Depends on what you're running in, Scuba. I pass a couple of USBs to mine in Docker. Now I'm just running the core thing Docker, and I do pass in the HID raw for the Wise sensor, and then I do pass in a Zigbee radio I don't use anymore. I just haven't taken it out. I took out the Z-Wave one. While we're waiting for this to re-up, well, there you go. I want to make a Wemo with a bunch of light alert to door and windows. Can I use the pins on the multiple? Now per LED, you're gonna need the multiple pins. If you want to, like some of the LEDs. There's some of them, they're like 3-channel LEDs where you actually got to feed it 3 different GPIO PWM pins. Then of course you will need more. Now, if you just want to probably the best thing is just to put a bunch of addressable pixels together. If you look in my, I kind of did it in that video, but I only used one. In the bathroom and humidity sensor, and I did rework that sensor for anybody. Marcus, I believe is I think I'm saying is Mark pushed me that day. I'm not saying pushed me, but he had a really good idea to fix that sensor. Yeah, and you can do it as well with you could do that exact build I did with ESP Home besides the 30-second pull on that BME 280. But yeah, you could do that same exact build. It's you could do the WS2812s and you put the number of pixels. I think the command's just pixels, and that's how many addressable LEDs. Yeah, it's actually working well. We can look at that actually. It's installed. And what I'm asking about? Yeah, it was a professional nudge, Mark, right? Um, I talked about this last time, but hey, why not, right? Uh, so there's ah, dang it. So there's the little basically I took and did the only difference is the BME 280 is behind the panel, and this is an addressable LED. There's a data out pin on these. You could put another LED. You could have put a bunch of LEDs together and then have them you could put 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, and then just put 8 as tell it you want to use 8 pixels. Whether you're using Tasmota or you're doing ESP Home, you just tell it you have 8 LEDs, and then you send the individual commands to them. You could probably even do it with probably WLED if you wanted to, if you really want to get weird, but it's up to you. So yeah, I want to say it has been working well. He hasn't complained to me. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up over there. Give me a second. Yeah. So let me move this out the way right quick before I do that. Display capture. All right. All right. Too many windows. I'm shuffling. So yeah, so it has it's been working well. I mean, it's got to he probably took a shower or something like that, and so it kicks in the the vent based on the humidity level. So that's really all we really wanted the sensor for, and it does still have in the pressure and the temperature, which is I guess yeah, you can see it did jump up because of that shower as well, and then slowly drop down. It's going to be higher because it's in the ceiling, but it's kind of expected. So, um, it would work if just for labs. You want sensors, yeah. So ESP Home, I have a NeoPixel 8 on one. I will be able to, yeah. If you look at the build I did in there, if you are doing ESP Home with it, um, look in the description of that video I linked. I'll pull it up. I know this is small. Let's see. You see right here, I just did number of LEDs 1. And the same thing, there's a pixels command in Tasmota. If you did WS2812 and you did the pixels command, it's the same thing. You tell it how many pixels you want. I just did 1 because I only had 1 LED. And then that would just tell it how many you're going to drive. So yes, there's a command where I can say LED 1 need to be red, but now that I don't know. I haven't done controlling LEDs. I know you can with some of the automations, and yet how you address each individual one in ESP Home. I haven't done that yet with driving multiple LEDs. Oh, so you can show the dew point as well. So that's a calculation, I think, is what that is, Frederico. I remember I did see that commit. Let's see. Yeah, so the fast LED, I know there's how you can do. There's without digging into everything. I mean, that's a whole other rabbit. I don't have one to test, Tim. There's if you want to look around the documentation. There's I want to say there were several examples in there of how to control different LEDs inside ESP Home, and I don't remember if he did. I know Doc who did like a video on something. He was trying to do like a sensor where it would do red, green, and yellow. I don't know if he did that with ESP Home either. So I'm sure you can see it in there. A wet bulb. What other ones we were talking about? I think that's about it. We were about caught up on things. Oh, you should tell me. You said there was an error in here, so we're at 107.7 now. I believe it should be. Info in the actual logs itself. Now this is a very minimal stuff. I don't think I've changed much in it. I just have a few devices. The log, look in the log. This log here. Let's see. Does it go backwards? Logs just scroll. What bombed out here? Something core. Oh, ESP home sensor bombed out. An exception with, I don't know if I have any ESP home stuff in here right now. I thought I deleted it. I don't know why that's in there. I thought I deleted. I know I have one pending as trying to get picked up, but I don't have any in here at all. I don't know why it's bombing out. I get confused on where the logs are at all the time. Move stuff around on me. I can never figure it out. Yeah, log viewer. Where's the log viewer at? You talking about it in the supervisor here? Oh, that's like the supervisor log. Oh, see, I don't have. I'm not. I don't. I guess I don't look at the only logs I really look at mostly is going to be in here, and I don't see any issues. But we'll look at the. Where's the add-ons? What's it just called? Log viewer. The stump viewer. Anything we need to add? Probably SSL is false, right? I don't have anything. I don't have this exposed anywhere. Did I hit save? I don't remember if I hit save. Yeah, I did. Start. Let's see if it blows up. Oh, there is. I thought there was for some reason. I'm just going to hit open UI. Is it supposed to show anything? Or just, I guess we should put it probably in the, I know you're right. I should have listened to you, right? Put it in the side viewer. I don't know if we can take the log. Is it? There you go, Tim. Look at Mark. Mark's also in Discord. If you look at him in the Discord thing, and you should be able to. He'll probably help you out and get you working with multiple LEDs. And there's multiple ways to do it, that's typically how this thing is, which is good. I don't, I love choices. I'm not seeing an error. Okay. Can you share how to set up Grafana with Home Assistant? That's a whole rabbit hole. I I probably should do it because you're probably looking at. I should probably do something where we do some of the add-ons. I did some Docker containers way back, and I really had Grafana and several different pieces to it before I even knew what the word Home Assistant was. Yeah, I had it. That's what it is. Influx. Um, I had Influx set up and Grafana before I even knew what Home Assistant was. Yeah, Frank has a good video for that. I don't know if anybody wants to post a link that you're more than welcome to. And but possibly maybe I could do one like that and show some things because I haven't messed with my dashboards in a while in Grafana, but I don't know if I have. Yeah, mine's probably a big mess now. Probably a very big mess. See, I've even got some Shelly EM stuff still, and I don't have anything hooked up right now. Um, this does work. Some of the laundry stuff. Some of these still work. I got wrong labels for them. It's just when I change too many things around, and then I forget to come fix things. You can see that the amps are still working. I can see the cycles on and off for the air conditioner. And these are separate circuits. I can probably see when I did something at 12. I'm not sure what that was on the bench, but then I've been pretty constant since then. So temperatures. So I do have a lot of stuff still set up in there. So yeah. So maybe we can do that again when it's not late in the end. Use your production as yeah. It's a mixture. It depends on how big of what development is. I do have I got 3 copies of Home Assistant. There's 2 core ones running in the same Unraid box, and then I had that VM one we were just looking at. And then also I have a 4th as the Raspberry Pi 4 to play with as well for things. But it just depends. Like there was a lot of changes with the Unify controller plug integration for Home Assistant recently. And so, yeah, I did actually try the Unify changes on that development copy before I did upgrade my production one. Yeah, it's hard to keep them both the same and everything. It's normally what I do normally when I'm reading I'll kind of scroll through some of the breaking changes and I'm like, man, well, that may not affect me too bad because it's easy to roll stuff back. But if it's something that I really kind of need to rely on, I'll try it in my development copy that's a big mess already, and then try it out and see what happens. Well, we're about to wind down, so you may have to rewind and go through some of the nonsense. We kind of did a bunch of the big basis was really Tasmota and a little bit of Home Assistant at the end, but it's all a big mix. So. Yeah, and I will say, I'll just say like everybody else, like a lot of other people, I don't upgrade to the .0s. I wait a couple days, and typically you might see a .2, a .3, which is good. I mean, they're finding and fixing stuff, and hey, more power to them. But I will just wait. I usually just wait. So, um, so. So if anybody doesn't have anything else, I appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully it was a little escape from the nonsense on the media out in the wild. And I'll say it like that and shut my mouth before I get in trouble. So if you got any other burning questions, I don't think I'll be up too much longer, but there are a bunch of other people. Come hang out in Discord or whatever. And I do appreciate it. And y'all stay safe and y'all take care. And where's the end button? deep in the windows.